Brand loyalty is nothing new, and it spans multiple industries. Everyone has certain brands that they prefer, from clothes to shoes, computers, TVs, phones, virtually everything that you buy for all kinds of different reasons. Now, in bowling, it seems like it's more dramatic or more of a juvenile deal to be brand specific or not. Could just be perception, how close I am to it. iPhone versus Android is a pretty contentious debate, for example. There are reasons both for and against it, though, and if you're on the fence about it or even just curious why some people are or aren't, I've got some actual legitimate advice and some thoughts on the matter. Now, typically the reasons to be brand specific or brand loyal in whatever you do is for uniformity. There's a consistency of theme or quality or a general familiarity. It's like buying a certain brand of power tools. Some of the pieces can be shared throughout that brand's tools that couldn't be used on a tool of another brand. Batteries for electric tools, for example. I have an electric mower, electric weed eater, and a pole saw, all from the same brand, and they all share the same batteries, and that's great because those batteries are freaking expensive. I wear Under Armour shoes because I like the feel on most of the designs, and the feel exists throughout most of the designs. And so I know I can get different types of shoes and different looks, but still have the same general fit. If you go with the same brand of phone, they'll all have similar UIs or user interfaces, so it's not like you're having to learn something new all over again. I could give a million more examples, but you get the point. Bowling brands are also like this, and having been able to drill lots of different balls from lots of different companies, they do each have reaction tendencies that exist throughout the lines. So while you're not going to get exactly the same reaction, there is a familiarity that exists that's kind of hard to explain. Say you're a Motive fan, though, so while there's a good amount of diversity in the product line, you still know that you're going to get that underlying Motive feel, so to speak. Brunswick brands use a lot of the HK22 base formula now, so there's kind of a familiarity that runs through their brands as well. And Storm does the same thing. All three SPI companies share the same general formulas too, but they tweak them a little bit between the brands so that they're just not straight up copy pasting things around. That's the reason for the different additives in the Brunswick brand's HK22 stuff as well. It's not uncommon at all, and it's not fangirling to say that one brand or one company seems to work better for you than others. I absolutely believe it when people tell me, hey, Storm stuff just fits best for me, and that doesn't mean that you're being a homer or whatever else. This is one reason to be brand specific. Another would be that there's so many different bowling balls out there that it's difficult for even me to keep up with, let alone people that will only drill a few balls a year. It's extremely overwhelming to the point that I think a lot of people are tuning it out now until they're actually in the market to buy something. But sticking to a brand or company helps you limit and focus your choices, and also ensures that you'll spend your few $100 on something you have a much higher probability of liking. Some people take it too far, though. Some people they end up being brand diehards, even if another brand or company would fit their game conditions better, or if there's a specific ball or balls out there that are unique or have been universally successful, but that you don't own because you're tied to a company that's not tied to you. Best example, Purple Hammer. If you're a urethane user and not on staff with the company, I don't understand not having one of those. Even if you're a Motive maniac or big into Storm Nation, if you don't have a contract, there's no reason that you shouldn't have a purple if you're a urethane user and see a lot of tougher patterns. Now, obviously, there's a few situations that wouldn't happen in, but don't at me because I'm speaking generally. You should understand what I'm getting at here. Basically, what I mean is don't chug the Kool-Aid so fast that you can't recognize stuff like a Phase 2, a Purple Hammer, or a Venom Shock, so on and so forth. The funny ones are when you have people that swear by one company under a brand and can't stand the other. I used to hear it all the time. It'd be like, well, I really like Roto Grip stuff, but I just can't find it. I don't like Storm. I haven't drilled a ball of theirs that I've liked. That's called coincidence or bad luck, because while Roto and Storm do have their own signature feels, they're also very familiar to each other. And having thrown 98% of the Storm and Roto balls that have come out over the last decade, if I hear someone say this, I'm just going to tell them that they've either had some bad luck, haven't drilled enough, or don't have a large enough sample size, or are just completely full of shit. Now, to be perfectly honest, I can believe that you might typically match up better with Storm or Roto balls. I think I actually threw Roto balls more righty and Storm balls more lefty, but it wasn't black and white at all, not remotely. The argument for being open to options from all companies is that having an exceptionally more diverse pool of options, especially if you're more competitive, can give you the best of all worlds. If you can have a purple hammer, a pitch black, and a microcell ball, that's great. And if you can have an MV Tour, a Venom Shock, and a Phase 2, I don't see how that can realistically be argued with. However, it requires a much deeper commitment, both financially and mentally, to actually keep up with, so it really depends on how serious you are about it. Now, can you be successful with a more limited arsenal? I would say absolutely. Look at EJ Tackett. Motive is one company, but their players stayed very competitive. Sam Cooley, who joined them earlier this year, said it was kind of refreshing to have a smaller and more defined group of options to consider rather than having 20 or 30 different balls to juggle. If you are brand specific, no hate from me. I just don't like the Kool-Aid drinkers who refuse to be objective and logical. Just because a certain ball or balls or company or brand works best for you doesn't mean that they're going to react best for everybody else. Not every ball that they release is the best ball on the market. Stop and think a little bit. Don't just jump on a bandwagon and be another loudmouth with a torch and a pitchfork. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.